Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here today and taking part in my presentation. Of course, it's about digital citizenship and why we must all become digital citizens. This is something very near and dear to me, so I hope to share it with you and maybe get some insight on some things that we can do for our district in order for our students to become better digital citizens, as well as ourselves, and how we might receive some funding through a federal program in order to obtain more resources and everything to help us along the way. So first of all, I know you're probably asking, what does he mean by digital citizenship? So what is digital citizenship? It refers to the responsible use of technology by anyone who uses computers, the internet, and digital devices to engage with society on any level. There's some key concepts that go right along with this that I took from the research, and I want to share those with all of you. Number one, they talked about is empathy. Very important in today's climate, especially the use of online forums, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, what all these students are taking part in. It's very important to teach them how to be empathetic to others online. Also, the internet knowledge, and understanding that user data. Very important for them to understand how to use the data, how to use the internet, what it all entails, and practicing digital literacy. We must teach them how to be proficient in knowing what is meant on a digital forum and how to read that. And then for them to also acknowledge the digital divide. Of course, there's a huge digital divide in many areas of even the United States, about some children having access to technology while some do not. Our students need to understand that there's other students in even the towns that they are in, even the area here in Woodward, that somebody may have a device and they may not. And finally, practice digital wellness and secure devices. Practicing that digital wellness is, of course, crucial to make sure that they know when is the right time to use a device, and when is too much time using a device, when they need to shut it off. And finally, securing those devices, teaching them how to encrypt everything with a password, how to make an effective password, everything to that effect, to help them become, and us become as well, extremely proficient digital citizens. Finally, I would like to talk about E-rate and digital citizenship and how they compare. I know, at the very beginning of the presentation, I told you there, may be some ways for us to receive some funding through a program that can help us get these resources, get some curriculum, everything we need in order to teach digital citizenship. So I'd like to introduce E-rate to you. It's a federal program through which schools and libraries can apply for funds to purchase hardware, internet access, and telecommunications to connect their students to different learning opportunities. It puts into place to ensure that education institutions have access to the technological resources necessary to keep students and teachers connected. And finally, we can receive support to purchase communication services and other technological products. So that's what we possibly will look at doing in the future, is to get this federal program E-rate to really help us increase our technology and digital citizenship for Woodward Public Schools. Now, the connection between the two, between E-rate and digital citizenship, E-rate, in order to be eligible for the funding, we must first demonstrate compliance with the Children's Internet Protection Act. This act, it was enacted in 2000 by Congress, and it addresses concerns about children's access to obscene or harmful content over the internet, which of course is very important in today's society, in today's technological world, about what children can see, what they don't see. Do we have barriers on stuff, or do we not? And how it relates to that, Woodward Public Schools, we must prove that we're providing the necessary training, provide for educating minors about the appropriate online behavior, including interacting with other individuals on social websites and in chat rooms, cyberbullying awareness and response. And in short, what it told us is schools that receive E-rate funding need to teach students how to use technology safely and responsible. So that really sums it all up and gives us that definition of what we have to prove and what we have to maintain doing to first get the funding and then, of course, maintain the funding. How do we teach digital citizenship? Common Sense Education states our education program brings students, families, and educators together to create world-class digital citizens for the 21st century. So this is the most important. They also gave a possible framework, and they introduced some curriculum that is available on teaching digital citizenship, which I really, really thought was interesting. And I will tell you the framework that they were talking about. First, we talk about privacy and security, teaching that to kids, self-image and identity, relationships and communication. How do we communicate with others? What relationships can be formed online? Cyberbullying and digital drama, extremely important for our high school students in today's arena. Digital footprint and reputation. This is important as well, that our students know that anything they post can be tracked. Anything can follow them in their future. So they need to be very cognizant of their digital footprint when they are on social media or any online forum or searches. Creative credit and copyright. This goes right with, getting information from a source. You need to source that from the online site. You need to be able to give somebody else the creative and credit and copyright instead of keep it for yourself and not cite it. Information literacy, and finally, internet safety. They also propose a curriculum through Common Sense Education. It looked very wonderful, so I hope that after this, maybe we can have some time to research the curriculum in depth. It's 80 lessons. It encompasses grades K through 12, and the best part is it's free. So this is something we could start on and get going and get our kids well versed in digital citizenship, so we can in turn secure that funding, the E-rate. The importance of teaching digital citizenship. There's 5 things I'd like to cover about the importance. First, informational literacy. Teaching digital literacy empowers students with the skills and understanding necessary to not only use internet and technology to their benefit, but also to use it in the most effective ways to quickly find information and utilize the ever-expanding list of sites and means of communication at their disposal. Very, very important to teach that information literacy and how to find the information, how to use it to their benefit to where it makes them become more successful. Finally, the cyberbullying prevention. Encourage students to be open, report any behavior that makes them uncomfortable, observe, document, and report anything that looks anything like bullying. This is so important, as there have been cases of students going home. I mean, some I think even suicide because of being cyberbullied. So this is a big issue that we must address and try to prevent that and encourage our students to come with us with that information. Finally, online safety. Students who are taught to understand and prioritize online safety feel confident to take charge of their digital lives, and they're less likely to fall victim to potential threats that await online. I did say finally, but there are 2 more. Let's touch on digital responsibilities. Students, they must be taught to wield that power wisely, as doing so is essential to their educational and personal success. We as teachers, we need to incorporate curriculum designed to create awareness of how to navigate the threats of hacking, piracy, and viruses, and as well as educating students on plagiarizing. And this is what I like best. What is it? And the potential consequences, because there should be huge consequences for that. So we need to teach them the ways for not to do that, because this will only benefit them as they go further along in their careers. When they go to college, if you plagiarize in college, it's a possibility you'll be kicked out of the class. So this is a very serious issue that children need to be informed about. Finally, health and emotional wellness in the digital world. Incorporating creative strategies to teach students to use technology safely in ways that preserve and protect their developing social, emotional well-being and physical growth, along with both the inherent benefits and dangers created by extensive online engagement, is a must. There are many students that we're teaching today that go to bed at 10 o'clock at night and stay up till 4 or 5 in the morning on their devices, especially our high school students. This is something that needs to be taught to the students, how to obtain and how to achieve that health and emotional wellness. What is good to do for your health? What is not good to do for your health? Teaching positive online use. Joseph, in an article from Applied Education Systems, gives a great acronym, READY, READY, and it's in today's classroom. It's just as important that students understand what kinds of behaviors are acceptable online and help them become smart, responsible, and respectful online users. The acronyms stand for R is remind. We need to remind the students to be mindful of what they post online, Secondly, we need to encourage them. Encourage them to take a break from real conversations. When's a good time to take a break and slow down and have a face-to-face conversation? Accountability. Make them accountable for the rules, for the policy of digital citizenship that our district has. Finally, demonstrate that model good citizenship. And the last one I liked a lot for the why is yes. Be a culture of yes. Tell these students, you know what, we're not going to put any restrictions on YouTube, on your online searches, because we've already taught you all the appropriate behaviors to perform an online search, to perform a YouTube search. So we're not going to have any problems. Give them some empowerment. Positive effects for students. It teaches students how to function in the world. This is case by case. We see this every day. We have a lot of digital tools, online content. We should teach our students how to function by making digital citizenship a priority. It teaches respect and protection. A lot has changed since it was first published, this digital citizenship in schools by Ribble, but he says one thing has remained constant: the importance of teaching students how to respect and protect themselves and others online. That's the most important part of digital citizenship. Finally, I wanted to tell you a little bit about the summary of my research to prove to you that I put a lot of time in this, hoping to make a change for our district to where we really can all get on board and make sure our students are great digital citizens. Zook's article, What is Digital Citizens and How do I Teach It? This article demonstrated how to teach it and its importance in the classroom. From Go Guardian, Nina W., it gave 5 concrete reasons why it's important to teach digital citizenship. The iSafe article explained the importance of digital citizenship at home and in the classroom. Joseph's article gives the READY acronym, which I discussed earlier, and Ribble's article examines the importance of digital citizenship. This is continued. Let me go back there. The articles that correlated directly with SEPA and the E-rate on how to get the funding. Common Sense Education article, it explains SEPA and E-rate in great detail, and it gave an in-depth knowledge to the process of becoming compliant. The FCC article, it was an extensive analysis of the program and helped the reader understand all those necessary steps in order to achieve such compliance. And then there was an article from Harney ESD, their service district, and it gave another explanation of E-rate and SEPA as it pertained to their district. Finally, the correlation, relevance, and reflection correlated directly with the standard. It was to promote the current and future success and well-being of each student. This assignment proved to be very helpful in achieving and correlating with the standards. Learning about digital citizenship and making it a priority will promote success of the student, and they'll be able to make those great sound decisions when they're acting as a proficient digital citizen. It was relevant to my future as a public school administrator. We live in a technologically based society. It'll be my responsibility to make sure that students are good citizens. The assignment was relevant to my everyday learning as I seek to understand the different ways that I can teach students to become great technology learners, and also how I can obtain the funding in order to do so. Finally, the reflection. I reflect on my personal and professional experiences when I was doing all this research, and I wish my oldest son, Logan, who's now 26, would have had some classes in high school on this. There were instances where he posted things that were inappropriate without my knowledge. As a teacher, however, I always try to stress to my students that anything they post can follow them, and they must be good stewards of all online forums. This is extremely difficult for some students to grasp. However, it definitely needs to be taught in the classroom. And this is the reason I gave this presentation to you all today, in order for you to know and understand that this is a very important part of our society today in the classroom. Finally, I'd like to leave you with my references. There's the first page, and there's the second page. Thank you very much.